other team.
Dang. One season the other.
What Mike Thomas say? We do not care. Well, Joe, I know you got a clip because this clip has been circulating all day. It's been about 10 minutes. Actually, the best part of the clip to me was probably about, I think, with like 2 minutes in is when they actually started asking the questions that people wanted to hear. And if you are from the Dallas area or if you are a Cowboy fan, then you already know that 105.3, I think it's 105.3 The Fan, is a local station for the Cowboys. And they normally don't ask Jerry stuff like this, but when they do, they get a nice sound bite. So, Joe, go ahead and play that sound bite.
Let's get it.
Job isn't to let me go over all the reasons that I did something and I'm sorry that I did it. That's not your job.
Well, my job is to ask
get
why.
A job, or I'll get somebody else to ask these questions, man.
Jerry, we're trying to figure out why the team is.
I'm not kidding you. I'm not kidding you. You're not going to figure out what the team is doing right or wrong. If you are, or any 5 or 10 like you, you need to come to this meeting I'm going to today. There are 32 teams here. You're geniuses.
So they go to the meeting. What's that going to change? Because it seemed like it seemed like the other teams went to that meeting and they made 2 trades happen. That's all I'm saying. But we reacting to Jerry threatening the local radio host. I mean, where do I start with this guy? I mean, this when I first heard it, right? Let me start there. When I first heard it, I was like, is he threatening the dude's job, or is he saying that he gonna start talking to another radio station? And then I said, wait. This is Jerry's segment. Of course he's trying to fire the guy because this is his moment. He calls every day around this time and has an interview with the radio station. Steven does one too. So this is what they had. The last time these guys got into it with him, I think that's where the you need to get your damn act together soundbite came from, because they was asking Jerry basically the same thing. Are you not understanding that you all are starting to ask this guy the same questions over and over? Why has he not done nothing to get the team better? Why does he keep believing? He keeps telling us that he believes in these guys when the product on the field doesn't match up to what your belief is. And Joe, you said this yesterday, and I thought about it, and that's when I threw out the comment where I was like, he needs to reevaluate the mental toughness of his players. And what I meant by that is, Joe, you also said this a long time ago, is Jerry's one of those GM/owners who's going to step into the forefront of everything. He's always going to be the guy to be like, well, my team wants to go to the Super Bowl. My team wants to do this. And even when they lose, he's still the first person in the locker room. Like, you don't find him going on Facebook making posts about the games. He's actually there. You know, he's still in the locker room and still doing these interviews, right? But again, does he have the players that's going to support his message? Because he's always talking about how good the team is and how good he believes in his guys. And if you got somebody that's saying they believe in you this much, and then every week or every time it's a big game, you go out there and lose, then next time somebody asks me on the radio, I might have this type of answer where it's like, well, you telling me I'm doing something wrong. Well, technically, you all were on here for 4 months and you told me to pay Dak Prescott, make him the highest paid quarterback, right? I made him the highest paid quarterback. Yes, I did take too long. Now, there's some things where I'm gonna get on the flip side of everything, but yeah, I took too long to pay the quarterback. But wasn't he an All-Pro last year? Wasn't he like, didn't we have the best home record last year with a bunch of guys? I mean, the roster is really not too much different from what it is as far as the star players. The only person that came back is Trayvon, because Trayvon was missing after like week 3. So you told me that CeeDee Lamb was talked about as being one of the best wide receivers. Didn't he lead the league in targets and receptions? I paid him. Right? Y'all said I need to pay these guys. These are the 2 guys, right? Boom. We got one of the most talked about defensive players in the league. And I'm gonna leave it at that. Most talked about. What's going on? I still got D-Law here. The only thing that's changed is the defensive coordinator. Yeah, I brought Zim in. Zim told everybody the day before, after his press conference, we're actually gonna be stern in our alignments and our assignments. I still see undisciplined football. So again, I did almost everything that you all asked me for as far as going all in. I paid my players. Took a little while. Why they can't perform? Why you asking me? That's where I thought about when I first heard the clip. Then after I went and drank some coffee and sat down and thought about it, I said, well, it's still your fault because you can't accept you can't accept the blame for what you did because you got a running back out there because you know you needed a running back. You went and got Zeke, but you had one of the best running backs who's still showing that he's the best running back in the league. I mean, look what he's doing out here. He's game-winning drives. Derrick Henry, you could have got him for almost $6 million, but you were being cheap. Your team has not stopped the run since I can't think of I don't know the actual date. I wanted to write the date down. I should have. From that Rams playoff game, they have not been able to stop the run since that day. The last defensive tackle that you brought in here to try to stop the run was Dontario Poe, and that failed miserably. So you still haven't done anything to address your defensive line. I mean, Dan Quinn went out and got Michael Parsons, but he was a linebacker. He's not a defensive tackle. You need to go get a defensive tackle. All the areas in which this team has failed you for years, you have not found ways to improve it. And I know a lot of people won't get their jokes off and say it's the quarterback. Go ahead and get your jokes off and say the quarterback is one of those. But again, you clearly know the weaknesses and deficiencies of your quarterback. But as a good GM, like most GMs do, if my quarterback is failing somewhere, I want to go get him some help there. We just talked about Josh Allen's situation. Again, it's not Josh Allen being a bad quarterback, but it's like, hey, if my quarterback needs more weapons, how about I go get him more weapons? Tua, look what the Dolphins did. They said, well, we want to pay Tua, but do we know if we really want to pay Tua? And he definitely did. He definitely is. But and he got employees like the Chum Bucket because only one person worked there. But they went and got Tyreek Hill and added more weapons to that offense. You want to talk about another quarterback? Let's go Jalen Hurts. The Eagles, Howie said, before we pay him, let's bring in A.J. Brown. Let's see how he does with all these weapons around. And where did they go? They went to the Super Bowl. They lost, but they went to the Super Bowl, paid him. Most people are saying I can get my jokes off on that one, but they paid him. So again, what did the Cowboys do when they paid Dak Prescott? They traded Amari Cooper. They said we got CeeDee Lamb. They said, you know what? Zeke is on his last leg. They traded Zeke away. They said, all right, so make it work with nothing. You want to get paid? I mean, they let him go. Yeah, you're right. They let him go. They should have traded him 2 years before that. But again, here we go again. They dealing with the same old scenarios. Can't stop the run. Defense is undisciplined. Offensive line, we already knew that it was rebuilding because you went out and got 2 rookies. For a GM and a staff that knows how to draft and find hidden gems as far as free agents, you have to get at least 1 or 2 free agents to build upon top of that because you are not a team that can just do an actual rebuild. You are not the GM that's going to allow your team to do a rebuild because it's not going to get talked about in the media. So if you're not going to do that, how about you add the pieces that you need? And then if you go out and sign all these people for $2-3 million and they fail, then you go back on the radio and get your ha-ha moment. But right now, everybody's laughing at you because you can't just admit that you messed up. Almost cussed. And to answer the question, I ain't even answer the question. And to answer the question, that's a low blow, bro. Like, we all know that you are at the top of the food chain when it comes to the Dallas Cowboys in the media. So for you to even threaten the guy, he like had a nervous laugh, like, haha, here go Jerry again. That's why we never ask him the serious questions. But again, this is why he needs somebody to ask him these questions because nobody challenges him.
Mm-hmm. So. You might go, Carl?
Go ahead, do your thing. I was about to tell you, go ahead.
All right. So look, you made a good point, Tomo, how he always praises his guys, but do he have the guys that's going to ride for him, right? So there's an old saying, right? You can't teach an old dog new tricks. Mm-hmm. I'm going to give you a better one. It's better to have a baby than to raise a dead. You need new life. You need new life in your organization. That's what the Cowboys don't have, new life. You kind of went there. The Eagles, I'm going to take it a step further. They go to Super Bowl. They have a slump last year. What they do? Go get Saquon Barkley. The 49ers go to the Super Bowl. Next year, they start slow. What they do? Get C-Mac. The Ravens go to the AFC Championship game. They didn't run the ball enough. What they go do? Get Derrick Henry. You know, the Kansas City Chiefs offense was like flower last year. What they do? Sign Hollywood Brown and Xavier Worthy. New life, new blood, like new excitement about the team. Where was there new excitement about the Cowboys this year? There wasn't.
They brought Zeke back.
Huh?
They brought Zeke back.
For real, that probably was the new excitement. But you brought one of the old dogs back to the yard, trying to see some new tricks. It's not happening. You raising the dead. Go have a baby. when you have a family, anybody have a new baby, the family's excited. Grandma excited, grandpa excited, uncles, aunts excited. Everybody excited to see the new baby. So that's what the Cowboys are missing. Now, the interviewer, shout out to them. I'm gonna say shout out to them, all right, for being bold enough to ask these questions. One question he asked was, if the execution becomes a problem to the extent of the Saints and Detroit games, why are those players still the right ones for the team? And Jerry said, first of all, where are you going? He said, where are you going to get players before the San Francisco game? And funny enough, Devontae Adams goes to the Jets, and Amari Cooper goes to the Dagon Bills. like right on cue. Thank you, Jerry. Right on time. Right? And then he said, we made our quarterback the highest paid player, and we climbed the receiver charts, so we know basically where we want to put our bread and butter in, basically, right? And it's like, dog, but you signed them so late. You could have signed CD earlier. You could have signed Dak earlier. You could have had more money. And Swagoo on ESPN always says, I talked to Derrick Henry personally. And I said, come to Dallas. He said, bro, I'm waiting for Jerry. And Jerry didn't even call the man. And now he's the leading rusher, about to break his best season, about to have his best season in his career right now with the Ravens. Crazy. Another question.
My best season with the Ravens.
Another question. Dude's like, I can counter that, and you know about the talks of the all season. And Jerry said, you don't have a counter because I'm not arguing with you, basically, all right? We are not about to talk about what I did wrong last month, 2 months, 3 years, 4 years ago. He said, I'm focused on the 49ers. That's Jerry's problem. He don't want to take no responsibility with things that matter of fact, he came out and said, put the blame on me. Put the blame on me. Put the blame on me. But now we're trying to put the blame on you, and now you're not sending. All you have to do is say, you know what? I was wrong. I should have did that. But instead, you sit down with Stephen A. Smith and give all these excuses why you didn't get Derrick Henry, all these excuses why you signed Dak late, and now you're saying, can nobody do it like me? That's his problem. I always tell you, Tomo, he's a great, great owner. He now bring money to the organization. He not keep y'all in the media. But I'm starting to look, and I used to praise him for doing what he's doing, putting the pressure on y'all, doing the talks. Now I'm looking like, yo, this ain't working. You gotta take a step back because all these championship teams across the sports, the owners take a back seat. They're not in the limelight. They all take a back seat, right? And the last thing I want to say is this. When he told the dude, it's not your job to ask these questions, basically, that's a lie.
That one.
That's a lie. That is his job. His job is to ask these questions. And that's my issue because Jerry has power, and I feel like he literally slapped him in his face with his power. Like he tried to son him. Like he tried to base him. You from the DMV. He tried to you're beneath me. I can control where you work at. You don't have to be in no more if I don't want you to. And I don't like that. And honestly, I think Jerry really don't mean that. I think he's really just frustrated. He's backed into a corner and he's panicking. And that's what's going on right now. So I feel like that interview, like I said in the chat, that interview tells the story of where y'all at right now, the franchise. If I'm a Cowboy fan, I'm signing up to boycott. We are not going to the playpen. We watching from home. Go ahead, Carl.
All right, so y'all know that one guy who he might have some success. He might be on the way to doing something, and he got that one friend who, no matter what, he's gonna try to keep it real with him. And dude head gets so big to where now he kind of don't want to mess with that friend because he's not gonna tell him what he want to hear. He's gonna tell him what he need to hear. That's what this sounded like. It sounded like, all right, I asked the question, very valid question, by the way, and I'm going to just get offended, not take no accountability, and threaten your job, threaten you being here, doing whatever you got from this job, whether it's a good house, whatever it is. I don't know what Brad has due to this job, but whatever your livelihood is due to this job, I'm going to threaten that so you can make these more favorable for me. That's just so wrong on so many levels to do. Like you said, it's abuse of power. But I do want to talk about something you said, Joe. You talk about these championships and everything. I'm glad you brought them up because, Jerry, I Googled all this while we were doing the segment. Jerry took over the Cowboys in 89.
Uh-oh.
He has 3 Super Bowls off a team that Jimmy Johnson has built. The reason why Jimmy Johnson was let go was because Jerry Jones wanted more control over the Cowboys and Jimmy Johnson didn't want to relinquish it, so they mutually agreed to part ways. Cowboys haven't been much since those Jimmy Johnson-led teams. They got one ring built on the back of Jimmy Johnson. But when it was Jerry Jones to have that control he wanted so desperately, he has yet to build a Super Bowl winner, a Super Bowl appearance, an NFC Championship appearance.
They got two.
No, they got two at Jimmy.
Oh, you saying they won off the because he said off the back of him. I'm thinking, oh, you saying okay, I got you. I got you. The Barry Switzer one. Yeah, the Barry Switzer.
They got three.
Same squad, same core.
They got three. They got three off of what Jimmy Johnson built for the Cowboys. Other than that, Jerry Jones has done nothing but what Joe said, bring them money. When it comes to the football, the product of the field, winning, they're a consistent regular season winning team, but that's not what the Cowboys nation want or are built off of. They're built off championships. He's not done his job in doing that, and he's frustrated, but you should be frustrated at no one but yourself. You got what you wanted. You got the control, and you're not good at that. You need to relinquish it and let other people do what they're good at. You want to talk about jobs, you need to relinquish and give somebody that job. Obviously, you want to take shots at them saying, if y'all know what's wrong with the team, y'all can come to me because y'all geniuses. Well, they might be smarter than you when it comes to putting a competitive team together. Like, I don't like the fact that he did that. It just screams arrogance. It's just like, come on, there was no point of you taking that shot. Like, why would you do that? They're just doing their job, asking you the question for the fans. You could have just gave them the real answer. We didn't really do much in the offseason. Yeah, we signed Eric Kendricks, but we didn't do much to address most of these things in the offseason. We just re-signed our guys and tried to run it back for the most part, and it's not working so far. And that's on me. I should have been more aggressive in free agency. I should have actually got the guy who wanted to be here at running back. Derrick Henry said, Dallas is where I wanted to go, but Baltimore is where I needed to go. Derrick Henry has come out multiple times and said he wanted to go to Dallas. You never made the call. And what you do? Lie and say you ain't had the money. Lie and say we tried, but we ain't had the money. That's what you did. I'm going to keep it short, but yeah, it was real. It just was disgusting in my opinion. It was nasty to threaten a guy for asking a very valid question.
No, that's a fact. Honestly, I'm mad that it was we would never know what they talk about in their personal quarters, but the fact that he asked it, I'm wondering who asking Jerry when they sitting down and just having brews. Like, bro, like, what is this? Like, what is this? Because I'm sorry. I mean, we all are somebody's son. We all having moments when we sit down with our parents and it's something that they said they was 100% right about. And we be like, I mean, well, you see, like, I'm just saying, you said that. You said bring Zeke back. Like, he can't even get on the field, Pops. I'm just saying. Like, I would have wanted to got Devin Singletary. I'm just saying, but you wanted Zeke. So now look at Zeke. But I just want to address two things. Joe, you said about the boycotting, and I don't know if you heard my voice memo when I replied to you on that one. Remember yesterday when I told you that the Cowboys is where Jerry's bread and butter is at this point in his life, right? So even if the Cowboy fans do not show up to the games, which attendance has been low at almost all the off-season stuff. I know you all seen the training camp videos, and even the practices are like, they saying the crowd's not as big as they used to be. So fans are starting to retract, like, look, bro, we're not going to keep wasting our lives with this, right? He still makes money off the stadium. So there's concerts, events. So he still can get money off of that. NCAA tournaments, everything, you know, football, basketball, they play games in Jerry's world. High school teams play at the practice facility. So he's going to still get his money somehow, some way. And fans from other teams, what better way to laugh at the Cowboys than to go pay for the tickets that the fans not paying for? I'm a 49ers fan. I want to go laugh at Dak in his house. I'm going to pay for the ticket because they probably selling it for dirt cheap.
That's fine, though. It's not really about them taking money from them. It's about just like, we're not backing you right now. The fans not behind you.
Also, the part that kills it too is the 3-letter and the 4-letter networks. Like, this Cowboys team has to be bad for years. Because other than that, look what happened when they lost. They're still talking about it till this day. If it wasn't for the radio situation, they would have still been talking about that Lions game. Like, it's constant revenue for them. So it's going to be tough as a fan to be like, all right, I'm done with it, because you're never going to see the change maybe till he literally just walks away from it, which is not going to happen because it's a family-owned business. But that's the one thing I want to address. The second part I want to address before we get out of here, because we got Unfazed at 9 coming up, AJ and JJ, the Jimmy Johnson years. Another story to that is after they won the Super Bowl, I think they said somebody was at a bar or something with Jerry, and an interviewer asked him, was like, so how you feel about all the success that Jimmy Johnson has brought you? And that's what ticked him off, because he like, I put this team together. No, Jimmy did all that. He wants it to be his way. So
Dog, you praise. Look, the great leaders praise their guys. That's what you do. Who cares about who get the credit? Just write me the check. So, like, who cares who get the credit? Like, when like for example, like with R2L, Dave gets the credit for like resembling me and Tomo and Dave. Like, I'm not gonna see him like, nah, it was me. Like they get all the credit for that. He the one that said bring Tomo on board. You know what I mean? You know, like I don't get credit for Carl. Carl told me before that he wanted to do stuff like this. I'm not gonna take the credit for what Carl does. You know, Carl does what he does. He gets all the credit. So when people try to make it seem like they're it's because of me, it was for me, I can't stand that. Like nobody wants to follow nobody like that either because everybody wants to feel appreciated. So Jimmy Johnson, just give him his flowers. Yeah, Jimmy's a guy. Jimmy's a guy. And what Patrick Mahomes does every Super Bowl, as long as Big Red is here, we're going to be winning. He don't take credit. He give all the praise to Andy Reid. So, come on, man. Like, sorry, Tomo.
Nah,
like
that's a little bit.
As long as he got owner, not owner, as long as he got GM, he could be a great owner. Great owner. But as long as he your GM, Tomo, just like how I was with my Dave Snyder be my owner, that's how I want to be with Jerry Jones, your GM. I know it's not going to get, you're not going to get there because he's not it.
Yeah, he spited his nose to save his face, and I'm pretty sure he regrets it.
Yeah, he definitely does.
Yeah,
now.
I don't think he really meant that for real.
No.
I think he was in his feelings, bro.
No. And that's why a little bit of me was like, bro, Dak need to leave. Like, I don't know why he stayed. Because at the end of the day, when it all goes wrong and Jerry does all these rants and Cowboys lose, who's the one person standing up there saying, we got to be better? I got to be better. The quarterback. Don't nobody else do that. It's just the quarterback. Man, and granted, that last game, he earned that one. But for the most part, when this team is getting dogged, he the one that takes the brunt of everything.
I gotta see CD interviews, man. Did he get interviewed at the Lions game?
Yeah, they all do post game.
I got it.
And they all say, I'm gonna save you 15 minutes, Joe. They all do this. We gotta take a look in the mirror. We got a bye week. We gotta execute better. The only person that stands up there and actually takes accountability for when this team loses is Dak.
That does every time. He does.
Not Josh Allen, Dak.
All right.
No.
You about to say because we trying to get out of here, you about to start something.
No.
Nah, Josh Allen takes accountability. That's Zach Wilson. Was it Zach Wilson? Or was it Sam Darnold?
Zach Wilson.
Yeah. Zach Wilson for sure.
Babyface Zach Wilson.